Well, thank you everybody for coming today to learn more about Grey Wolf Animal Health. Obviously our customary forward-looking statements. So Grey Wolf's business has evolved significantly over the last few years, and today we actually look very different than we did even 12 months ago. And so I think this is for the better because we've really architected the business in such a way that we can have an outsized impact across all three markets that we serve in. When we started 10 years ago, we were largely focused on bringing products into the vet channel in Canada to support veterinarians in taking better care of their cat and dog patients. That's historically been the face of our company, and we have a solid business in this space. But today that business contributes about 1/3 of every dollar that we bring in. And that is because we have done 2 acquisitions in the last 5 years in areas that really complement this business. The first acquisition was Trutina Pharmacy in 2021, and the second acquisition was the Compounding Pharmacy of Manitoba in December of 2024. So these acquisitions have given us a significant foothold in the pharmacy compounding space, and they've really opened up new doors and new markets to us. So today, Grey Wolf's business is focused on providing products and services across 3 markets: animal health products into the vet channel, animal pharmacy compounding, and human pharmacy compounding. And these areas really complement each other, and we now have both the scale and the ability to really have an influence in all 3 areas. If I look at the animal health industry, one of the key distinctions in this market is the role that the vet plays. And it's much broader than what you see when you go visit your doctor. So veterinarian is diagnosing, treating, prescribing, and dispensing medication, whether they're taking care of a cat, a dog, or a large animal such as an equine. And in terms of the industry, it has been growing year over year in both pets and veterinary services. And this growth is being driven by a couple of key tailwinds. That would be the humanization of pets that has been happening, as well as increased ownership from both millennial and now even Gen Zs. And so this industry dynamic has resulted in about a 7% CAGR since 2015. So Grey Wolf has a product portfolio that's really focused on a couple of key therapeutic areas. This would be behavior, GI, surgery, and our portfolio spans everything from prescription pharmaceutical products to nutraceuticals, which are sold in that front shop store that you see in a vet clinic, to consumables that are used every day during procedures and surgeries. So when we are out looking for new opportunities to in-license, we focus on products that fit within one of our key therapeutic areas. We also look at products that are attractive enough to take us into a new therapeutic area or complementary space. And so what we've done over the last few years is curate a portfolio of many international standard of care products that have largely been missing from the Canadian landscape. And so while it's really good to have a product portfolio like we do, it's equally important to be able to get those products into market. And so we have built over the last few years a track record of getting products approved, launching them in Canada, and growing those brands. And so today we have commercial infrastructure across Canada so we can get our products into clinics coast to coast. We've modeled our sales and marketing strategy off a specialty pharmaceutical model where we have marketing and technical service that are backing up inside and on the road sales reps, supporting them with messaging and continuing education on both the product and the therapeutic area. And so what we've really done through our portfolio and our national coverage and our regulatory knowledge is offer greater treatment choices to veterinarians so they can take better care of their patients. And a really good example of this is our product called Cilio. Cilio is a behavior product. We partnered with Orion, a publicly traded company based in Finland. Orion saw in Grey Wolf a company that really had the drive to support and grow its sales, as well as the platform to handle a national product launch. We launched this product at the end of last year, and we have continued to see momentum and interest growing throughout this year. And so we see further opportunities to really partner with European and US companies to bring their products into the Canadian marketplace. Now, when I mentioned in licensing, a number of you probably automatically thought about deal structures that are upfront, milestone payments, transfer prices. Historically, our structures have really been focused and revolved around a transfer price format. So our portfolio, the gross margins range from higher ends usually on the prescription products to lower gross margins on consumable products. So we've been averaging out at about a 55% gross margin on this product portfolio. And when we look at what is driving the revenue in this piece of our business, the products that you see on this screen behind me really contribute the majority of revenue for this particular product portfolio. So what's really interesting to us about this model is that it is established and repeatable. We have now done over 10 transactions with different animal health companies that are now reaping the benefit of the commercial platform we have built in the Canadian vet channel. The last one I'd like to highlight is Enteroaid. So GI upset, for those of you who have a cat or dog, it's one of the main reasons for a non-routine visit to the vet clinic, and you are not waiting. But if you go in to see your vet, the standard of care is an antibiotic, and that can take days to work, and it's actually harmful to the pet's gut. And so we've gone out to change the narrative around how to treat GI upset, and we're doing that with Enteroaid, which is a natural, safe paste that contains a clay that binds the toxins. It works quickly, and it does it without harming the pet's gut. And so while this product has been on the market now for quite a few years, we have continued to see growth. And in 2024, it grew by 74% year over year. And we now have over 23% of clinics in Canada that purchase the product on a regular basis. I now want to kind of turn our attention to the pharmacy compounding piece of our business, because pharmacy compounding plays an essential role in the healthcare ecosystem, as it's focused on the individual needs of a patient. And so if you think about the areas where pharmacies can step into place, they are mixing and combining ingredients when a commercial product is not available or it's unsuitable for use. So perhaps you need to change the dose of a product to better suit the weight of the patient. Or maybe you need something in liquid or paste format because your patient is unable to swallow that big, huge tablet that's in the commercial product. Or finally, maybe you have a child at home that actually has allergies to certain ingredients, and so you need a product that doesn't contain those ingredients so that you can give it to them and they will get better. In terms of our animal patients, we can look at apple or molasses flavoring for picky horses, tuna for finicky cats, or maybe we need something in powder format so that it's easier for the pet parent to give their cat or dog so they're not trying to pill them. Compounding is all about providing a service for better health and wellness by focusing on the unique needs that each patient has. And so the compounding market in Canada is fragmented, and it is regulated at the provincial level by the different College of Pharmacies. A few years ago, national standards and guidelines were brought in place around compounding and the requirements that each facility that steps into this space would need to operate by. This resulted in some consolidation happening in the industry. So today there are few facilities that meet or exceed these standards and guidelines that are operating across Canada. The industry itself is about $800 million, and it's growing at about 5% a year. And this growth is being driven by drug shortages, evolving patient needs, and just drug adherence. And so there continues to be an opportunity for a company with our size and scale to really have an impact and influence in this market. And so for us, when we look at compounding, it's all about providing a consistent service, dose to dose and prescription to prescription. And this again is really important for the patient. They want to know that the response they're having to their medication today is the same tomorrow, the next day, and when they get their prescription renewed. And so we operate facilities that meet or exceed the national standards and guidelines, and we provide the same rigor around our process so that we are being consistent, delivering quality and timeliness regardless of the script that comes in our doors. We have 2 facilities currently. The first facility is Trutina Pharmacy, based in Ancaster, Ontario. It's 10,000 square feet. The second facility we operate is the one we acquired in December of last year. CPM, it is based in Oakbank, Manitoba. It is 25,000 square feet. Both of these facilities have dedicated rooms that can do sterile, non-sterile, hazardous, and non-hazardous compounding. So when we look at what goes on in terms of the workflow in pharmacies, it all centers around the prescription. You're not feeling well, you go see your doctor. He hands you a prescription. You take that to your local pharmacy. Pharmacist looks at it and says, this is for compounded product. We don't actually have that on our shelf. They will send that information to us. We mix all those ingredients together. We mail the product to the pharmacy, and your local pharmacist will dispense it out to you. So for us, we're providing a very consistent, quality, timely service for every script. And we can do this equally effectively whether the script ends up going to an equine, a cat, a dog, or a human patient. It doesn't matter in the end. It's all for us around that service that we're providing and the process that we follow in our facilities. So I said at the very beginning that we kind of sat at the intersection between 3 key areas, and they do complement one another. So in the animal health space, it comes back to the role that vets play, where they are both prescribing and dispensing medication. And we've built up a commercial platform in that space where we can now layer on new products, as well as bring in our expertise around animal compounding to better fill out the toolbox that a veterinarian uses during their job. In the pharmacy space, we can compound equally effectively for human and animal patients because of the process and the rigor that we apply within our facilities, where it's all about the flow of the script and not necessarily the end user. When we look at how we go to market in our different areas of business, on the human side, we have 2 pathways to market. The first pathway is a B2B model where we partner with pharmacies. This can be local pharmacies. It can be corporate chains like Shoppers Drug Mart or Walmart, or even healthcare agencies. The workflow is very similar to what I described a couple of slides ago, and we're focused on building partnerships with pharmacies, educating them around the services that we provide, the standards and quality that we can meet or exceed, and how we fill the gaps so they can better support their customers. The second way that we go to pathway in human compounding is a B2C model where we partner directly with patients and doctors or other healthcare practitioners. We use this model in the area of bioidentical hormone replacement therapy mainly. BHRT is prescribed to individuals that have low or unbalanced natural hormone levels. If you get a prescription for a BHRT product, you can send that directly to us. We have pharmacists on staff that provide all the patient counseling you would typically get from your local community pharmacies. And then we will mix those ingredients together, and we mail the product directly back to the patient themselves. We hold that patient relationship directly, and we're supporting them. We are also providing continuing education directly to doctors, nurse practitioners, and other healthcare professionals that are working in BHRT and prescribing those products. And so we continue to see ways that we can grow across both pieces of these businesses. In animal compounding, it's a B2B model that we are using. We're partnering with veterinarians and vet clinics. And this again is important because when the vet prescribes a compounded product, they are sending us the information. We mix the ingredients together, We mail that product back to the vet, and then the vet can dispense it to the pet parent to give to their dog, cat, or their horse. And so we're able to leverage the platform that we have built in the animal health space and the relationships we already have, and bring in additional compounded services. And a good example of this is at the end of last year, we launched a GS product for the treatment of FIP in cats, which is a fatal form of coronavirus for cats. So what we did here is similar to what you saw us do in the animal health product piece of our business. We partnered with Bova, a specialty compounding pharmacy based in the UK that had developed and validated a formulation with clinical studies and stability data. We compound that formulation in Canada. We are selling it to vet clinics and supporting both vets and cat owners with a trusted quality formulation that meets an unmet need within the Canadian marketplace. In terms of the economics around pharmacy compounding, gross margins again vary product by product depending on the ingredients and labor that go into making that particular product. In 2024, we had about a 48% gross margin. We have seen a little bit of an uptick to about 55% or so in the first half of this year as we've layered in the CPM acquisition, which happened again in December. So we do have an established platform which we can just start to drive some operating leverage through. So today our business is well diversified and balanced across 3 markets: animal health products that we sell in the vet channel, animal pharmacy compounding, and human pharmacy compounding. And there are levers that we can pull and continue to pull to grow across all 3 of these areas. So in terms of animal health, I've highlighted this before, but we do sell to about 75% of clinics across Canada right now. So there's opportunities to add new clinics. There's opportunities to grow share of wallet with those existing clinics that we're already partnered with, whether it's through products that we currently have in our business or by adding in compounded products and expanding a vet's toolbox. On the human side of our business, there's opportunities to add new pharmacies, new patients, and new doctors that we work with. There's also continued opportunities to expand share of wallet by entering into complementary products and therapeutic areas, so you're getting a greater share from each patient that comes in. From a financial perspective, our story is kind of saying or telling that the pharmacy business is growing on the back of an established commercial platform in the animal health space. In the first 6 months of this year, top line revenue grew by about 32% to $17 million. Adjusted EBITDA grew by just over 50% to $3.4 million. I do remind people that it's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison because 2025 numbers do have the CPM acquisition in for the first time, but our pharmacy business, excluding CPM, has continued to grow in the first half of this year by about 11% year over year. On a pro forma basis, if we take a look at that for 2024 and assume that we had CPM for a full 12 months instead of just 1 month, top line would have been about $33 million and adjusted EBITDA would have been around $6.7 million. So the board plus the 2 co-founders of the company as well as the executive team continue to be highly aligned with shareholders. We do hold about 24% of the outstanding common shares. With the CPM acquisition, we did take on additional debt. So we finished June of this year with $26 million in debt, $6 million in cash. Again, if I look at a pro forma basis, our net debt to adjusted EBITDA ratio, excluding the mortgage, is about 2.5 times. We have a solid free cash flow profile, so we are expecting to continue to delever, much the same way we did post the Trutina acquisition in 2021. So I would just like to close by saying we've come a long way in the 10 years since Grey Wolf was founded. We have built up solid businesses across 3 key areas. We now have the scale and the infrastructure in place and know how to execute in those markets. We're kind of poised now for further growth as we look to accelerate on the opportunities that are before us. Thank you so much.